I need more.
I'm doing all this for you.
Yeah.
And I'm unappreciated.
Totally. Wow, I'm noticing I'm really would love to spend some time with
Yeah? Tell me more about that.
not a lot of words are spoken. You know?
You got your money and your sex lined up. Things working well.
And I was probably no, I'm doing my thing.
Yes.
I'm gonna be more sexual with you.
Yeah. Let's get some juice going here, baby. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Salties. And I'm Ben Saltzman, and this is my wife Kerena Saltzman, and we get to tell you about how we fumble and fall and flake and just do a bunch of crazy stuff, and how we try to recover, and hopefully you get something from it.
So we both teach these tools and practice them ourselves at home, and sometimes we come out beautifully, and other times we come out marred and disheveled.
Disheveled and sucky. We don't like it.
No.
So tell us about your clients.
Okay. So I have a couple that I've been working with, and they've been in a long-term marriage, 25 years, and I've seen this multiple times, so it's not just this couple. But the theme is that he's feeling unappreciated. He's kind of the financial driver in the family system. And he's feeling a little resentful, actually. And she's feeling distant, detached, and like they're living two kind of separate lives.
Which in a lot of ways they are, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of, she's doing what she wants.
Yeah.
He's doing what he wants.
Right.
There's not a lot of talking through how they want to be together or what they want to do.
What they both want.
It's pretty separated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of words are spoken, you know? Not a lot of here's what I'm thinking, what are you thinking, how are we, not a lot of communication happening. Mm-hmm. And for 20 years, actually, this worked quite well for them. I mean, they met when they were super young too, right? So there's a way that, but then their development caught up with them, and one of them was I need more. I want to know, I want to feel closer, I want to feel more involved with you, I want to feel more appreciated by you, I don't want you to go off in your corner for days. And it was I'm pretty sure it was the guy, right, who's mainly kind of usually one person is sort of alarming it a little bit, hey, something's not okay with me. But the other person was wanting more of a partnership and wanting a different kind of relationship. So there was longing on both sides. And typically, the longing in the beginning will show up as complaints or as
about the other.
Yeah. But underneath, there's a longing for a different, deeper, more connected relationship.
Yeah. And what are the typical complaints? What do we hear?
You're busy. You work a lot, or you're caught up in the kids all the time. You're not interested in me. You don't make time for me.
Mm-hmm. I hear a lot from the women about the men. You're emotionally unavailable. You're not attuned to me. You don't show that you care.
Right.
You're drinking too much, or you're watching too much TV, or checked out. You're kind of checked out.
Yeah. And I think the men sometimes are feeling sometimes, not always, in some relationships, I'm holding down a lot with work and everything else, and I just need some time to myself.
Yeah. I'm doing all this for you.
Yeah.
And I'm unappreciated.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Both realities completely.
Any of this sound familiar? And sometimes the masculine and the feminine switch roles.
It can go both ways.
But okay, so this is what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
They're in different worlds. Mm-hmm. One of them is sounding the alarm. Mm-hmm. One of them is this isn't working for me.
Right. Let's get into therapy, which is always I mean, getting into therapy is a very brave act, and it's not comfortable for most people, right? You're sitting there, and then the tendency is to focus on the negative, which is a little important, but you know, what I try to do is also look at, like, okay, why'd you come together? What are the what are the ways that they are connecting now? What are the ways that they both actually want the same thing, and they're both taking a stand for that? If I can find that.
Yeah.
You know?
Because usually it feels to me like underneath the you're shut down, you don't care, I want more connection with you.
Yeah.
I want to feel love. I want to feel like you matter to me and I matter to you.
Right. I'm going to be more sexual with you.
Yeah.
I want to.
Like, let's get some juice going here, baby.
Yeah.
You know, like that's underneath the, you're not doing it right.
Right. Often. Yeah. There's a longing. I would say underneath the complaints, the longing.
Yeah.
And if you can get to the longing, that's a more easy place to hear from. So if I come to you with a complaint, you know, it's like,
go ahead, do the complaint, and I'll react the way
I get my last complaint, I think, was I feel like we've been around your family so much, and I'm missing seeing you, and I just feel like you've been wrapped up in, you know, seeing them and finishing the project that you're on.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be the complaint, and inside of me, I might be defensive.
Right. Like, are you freaking kidding me? I've given you so much time lately, or whatever.
No, but it would actually be, yeah, I have. I've been working on this project for us.
Right.
I've been trying to get this basketball court built for Jordan, my 12-year-old daughter, so we can play basketball together.
That's right.
And here you're
trying to build this basketball.
You're giving me a hard time that I'm not around.
Right.
So
yeah, we definitely have this dynamic.
So that would be. Right, like the complaint comes and it's met with defensiveness, or talking about why, you know, defending the reasoning. And then what's the underneath? Or
the longing. If I could come with you, like, wow, I'm noticing I'm really would love to spend some time with you.
Yeah. Tell me more about that. See, I want to hear more.
He's already like, oh, this is nice. Well, I'm just noticing I just want to be with you and just kind of hang out in bed with you and catch up and get current. I feel like I haven't gotten current with you. Yeah.
Getting current meaning like we get to talk about the stuff that's been happening with the other person.
Because we haven't had time. I mean, there's times we don't have time.
We're on vacation.
In a full day. Right. Even build the basketball court on vacation. You don't have time to, you know, there's times life is full.
Right.
And so
we're going through that whole situation, and there seems to be a way that we want contact underneath, but we don't lead with that often.
Right. The lead is with the complaint.
We lead with the complaint. And then so let's say you're working with these couples, and they're doing this dance. What do you do?
I think one thing you can do, a couple over here, is you can start to notice what the story is that you're making up when that person does that. You know, like, oh, the story I might be making up is that you don't want to have time with me. And I can say, oh no, it's not that I don't want to have time with you. It's that this basketball court is for our kid. In the next 10 years, she's going to be able to be on this court, right? When we come here and
right.
Yeah. And so part of it is the reaction is so strong. The trigger is so strong that it can feel like abandonment. It can feel like I'm being dishonored. I'm not being valued, right?
When you say that I'm making up this story, there's something about how you're saying that and holding that makes it so that I can hear it.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not totally buying the story. You're not saying you are doing this, but just by framing it in, I'm making up the story that.
And you're checking it out. You're really going, hey, is this, am I accurate? Am I off? Am I?
Yeah, there's a way, you're holding it gently. You're not super attached to your story of it's correct.
You almost want it to be wrong, right? Like, just convince me that my story is totally wrong, please, because
Yeah.
The story's not pretty to hold, you know?
Right. So I like that approach.
Uh-huh.
It's this is a story I'm telling myself about what's really going on for you and why you're a son of a bitch or why you're doing this. But I don't totally believe it.
Right.
And I want to check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's helpful. I think finding ways to connect, even non-verbally, it's like anything that allows for the feeling of connection to be there. Not everybody's super verbal. It might just be like touch, like love languages. How does that person experience or want love?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think underneath some of what we're pointing to is rather than always diving into the problem and trying to solve the problem,
yes,
is how do we build more connection and vibrancy and loving presence in the relationship. And then the problems often are not so big.
Yeah, exactly. And the power of the force of the positive outweighs this other thing because the force of it is so much stronger.
Yeah.
It's like a positive confirmation bias. You're choosing to kind of see through that lens versus the lens of how your partner's always screwing up, right? And the Gottmans have done a lot of this around looking at both negative and positive ways we're viewing, and then like the 4 horsemen of the ways we criticize and contempt and what they're looking at in relationship. Is basically how the negatives derail the positivity. But I think in a lot of couples work, it's how do we support the positive and actually reinforce that? Because rerouting the problem is just exhausting. And it just reroutes the problem. Like, I can get the problem in about 3 minutes and then let's just done with that. All right, let's see if we can create another.
Yeah. We can get the layout of the 3 minutes of the 1 hour session. That's all we need on the problem.
But it's that neuroplasticity too of creating a new neural pattern, I think, for the we that is a positive way of seeing each other in the relationship.
Right. And some of the principles, when we're teaching relational skills, some of the skills are really quite simple on the surface.
Yeah.
But there's artistry in how do we apply them and use them, right? So we teach people how to bring curiosity, a little bit like you were doing earlier. The story I'm making up is this true?
Right.
Like she's curious about what's going on over here.
And I'm not assuming I know.
Yeah.
I'm not assuming. I'm like, do I know? Maybe I know, maybe I don't know.
Right, that's a big shift.
Which allows the other person to move and have room to breathe.
Yeah. So, curiosity.
Reflective listening.
Reflective, like, what I'm hearing is this what you're telling me? Is this right? And then there's often, that's not, you're a little off, or no, you totally missed it. It's like this, so that capacity to be curious and to reflect back and make sure you get it right, slow down the relationship and the conversation, really attuning to what's happening here and what's happening here. It's another big skill that we work with people.
Being able to shift it from here over to there, back to here.
Yeah, like that kind of like, how am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling shut down right now. Okay, what are you feeling right? There's something inside of you that's getting enlivened, that's getting lit up. Like you're like getting excited, and I'm shutting down. This is strange. What's happening here? So like there's this attunement that we're encouraging you to cultivate inside of your being, to see what's happening inside of you, and then to shuttle over and see what's going on inside of them. Can you feel into that? And then explore it. Bring curiosity to it. What's going on for you? These are some of the basic building blocks.
Yeah.
Anything else in terms of what you do with the couples when they're like, right, and you want to, I want to say just structurally, this happened between us. There's, 10 years ago, there was more, she was doing her thing and I was doing my thing, and I was like, hello, Kerena! We're ships tossing at sea.
And I was probably like, no, I'm doing my thing.
Yes. Come here. Come hither. No. Or the other way around, I'm off gallivanting and teaching seminars in Europe or whatever, and she's like, hey, where are you? I'm very busy and I'm very important. And financially very split. Our business is, very
This
split.
is like 10 years ago, it was like 5 years post-marriage. So we're married.
Right, we're already
legally all,
5 years together, still sometimes very split. And we didn't want to be that split. We were like, let's intentionally get more webbed, more we-ness in the relationship. And one of the things that really helped was we started doing money meetings twice a month. And I'm curious, from your perspective, what shifted from the money meetings?
Well, I think part of it was the structure. We would talk about what our intent was, what our we goals are, what we were creating together. Mm-hmm. It was more like a we. Even though we had I goals too at the end of it, then we would review like, how are we doing with the things we said we want to do the next time we would meet. But it was like we were collaborating instead of being silos within it. And it was way more fun to collaborate around it too. Like, oh, there's two of us here creating this world.
And we also got to explore some of our values.
Yeah.
Of what do we care about? We're putting our money, our collective money, behind what we care about, and some exploration of that I think was really helpful. We kind of feel like we're lining up on the same page.
Yeah, we feel pretty well aligned. I mean, every now and then we'll have little differences, but
I think that was part of the money meeting, supported lining up.
Right, and then being more congruent in those areas.
And for us, at the beginning, we do some intention prayer, just to kind of, it's almost like setting a sacred container. That might not be your thing, but if it is your thing, we encourage you to bring that sacredness to these conversations, even though when you're talking about money, which sometimes people are like, oh, how could that be spiritual or religious or sacred? They kind of separate that. But like really, like how you do it together, and there is a sacredness to getting the ego out of the way and to allowing something else to grow and to feeling divine inspiration, or it doesn't have to be mundane of this world only.
And it can also be about supporting other places, spaces, causes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do we want
to
channel the funds and the money to?
But it is one of the greatest conflict areas, I think, money and sex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, money and sex, two of the biggest issues in relationship, and to the places where if you do it well, whoa!
Everything else works out.
Hello, all that other issues, they disappear. You got your money and your sex lined up, things working well. Right?
There's truth to that. There's other little rumbles in the field, but you feel. I mean, I think sex is an act of connection too. It connects us. It connects couples. Mm-hmm. Unless two people are just really not that sexual and happy with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that.
That could happen.
But for most of us,
usually one person is wanting a little more, a little something, or.
And when sometimes there's some trauma or there's some inner work that needs to happen before it can really go well. But I tell you what, all those little things that used to be big deals, when you get your sex and your money stuff lined up and working well together, those big deals ain't so big.
I would also say that the other thing that we did that was super helpful is that we started prioritizing time during the week in the afternoon together when our kid was gone, to actually have time for us. We call it love time, but whatever happened in love time was what happened. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we walk, sometimes we be, but it was just time focused on outing everything else. And I was amazed at the level of little petty conflicts that went down once we started doing that. Like it's like we felt connected. So the little things weren't disturbing the force at all.
All right.
There you have it.
I think that's good for now. Chew on that one. Work that one for a while.
Have fun with it.
Yes. Anything you want to say about our seminars or events or anything?
I would just say we have a lot happening. Ben and I work together. There's relational for people who are not, coupled. We do work with couples, but if you're not in that lean, you can still learn a lot of relational skills to put into relationship in all the relationships you have, with friends and community. And I think more than ever, we are, as we, longing and needing places to connect on a human level. So we want to support that.
Yeah, and we do it virtually, training virtually, and we do it in person. So, we'll make it work for you however you want to do it. For more information, head over to touchedandtransformed.com. And if you're not signed up for the newsletter, sign up where it says free videos or newsletter, and we'll keep on putting them out for you. Bye.
Bye.